21e sommet va reprendre, mais il est presque à sa fin. Je rappelle qu'il y a eu prestation de serment des 2 nouveaux secrétaires généraux adjoints. Il y a eu également une nomination du vice-président de la Cour de justice de l'EAC. Il y a eu la prestation de serment du juge à la chambre de première instance de la Cour de justice de l'Afrique de l'Est.
Your Excellencies, I would wish to read now the communique of the 21st Extraordinary Summit of the East African Community Heads of State, held today, 31st May 2023, in Bujumbura, Republic of Burundi. The 21st Extraordinary Summit of the East African Community Heads of State, held 31st May 2023, Bujumbura, Republic of Burundi, reads as follows. That the East African Community Heads of State, Their Excellencies Evariste Ndayishimiye, President of the Republic of Burundi, His Excellency Dr. William Samoei Ruto, President of the Republic of Kenya, His Excellency Dr. Philip Mpango, the Vice President representing Her Excellency Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan, President of the United Republic of Tanzania, His Excellency Right Honorable Eduardo Ngirente, Prime Minister representing His Excellency Paul Kagame, President of the Republic of Rwanda, Her Excellency Right Honorable Rebecca Alitola Kadaga, First Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of East African Community Affairs, representing His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, President of the Republic of Uganda, His Excellency Dr. Barnaba Marial Benjamin, Minister in the Office of the President, representing His Excellency President Salva Kiir Mayardit, President of the Republic of South Sudan, His Excellency Honorable Antipas Busa Nyamwisi, Minister of State of Regional Integration, representing His Excellency Felix Tshisekedi Tshilombo, President of the Democratic Republic of Congo. Held the 21st Extraordinary Ordinary Meeting of the EAC Heads of State on 31st May 2023 in Bujumbura in the Republic of Burundi. The heads of state met in a cordial and friendly atmosphere. The summit noted that the tenure of Engineer Stephen Mlote, Deputy Secretary General Planning and Infrastructure, ended on 18th May 2023 and commended him for his dedicated service to the community and wished him well in his future endeavors. The summit appointed Ms. Annette Mutawe Semwemba as the Deputy Secretary General, Customs, Trade and Monetary Affairs, and Mr. Adria Arik as the Deputy Secretary General, Infrastructure, Productive, Social and Political Sectors, with effect from 31st May 2023. The heads of state noted that the tenure of Honorable Lady Justice Sauda Mujasiri, Judge of the East African Court of Justice in the Appellate Division and Vice President of the Court, will come to an end on 19th June 2023, and commended her for and dedicated service to the community and wished her well in her future endeavors. The summit therefore designated Honorable Lady Justice Anta Mugeni from the Republic of Rwanda as Vice President of the East African Court of Justice with effect from 20th June 2023. The summit appointed Justice Omar Othman Makungu from the United Republic of Tanzania as a judge of the East African Court of Justice in the Appellate Division with effect from 20th June 2023, and designated the chairperson of the summit to preside over the swearing-in ceremony of the judge. The summit appointed Justice Kayembe Kasanda Inganserin from the Democratic Republic of Congo as a judge of the East African Court of Justice in the First Instance Division, with effect from 31st May 2023, the heads of state received and adopted the reports on the peace and security situation in Eastern DRC submitted by the facilitator of the EAC-led process and the chairperson of the East African Community Chiefs of Defense Forces through their Sectoral Council, Ministers of Defense. The summit congratulated the East African Community Regional Force for its achievements toward the restoration of peace and security in Eastern DRC, and noted that Major General Asad Muthuri Kiungu from the Republic of Kenya is the new force commander of the East African Community Regional Force. The heads of state took note of the progress made by facilitator and the regional force in the implementation of the EAC-led process. The heads of state condemned in the strongest terms the ceasefire violations in Eastern DRC and directed the East African Regional Force to take measures to stop their recurrence. The heads of state noted that all troops contributing countries have deployed in their respective areas of operation, and the reduction in hostilities in Eastern DRC, and urged DRC to facilitate full deployment by all the partner states, including the Republic of South Sudan. The summit directed the East African Community Regional Force as follows. A, to safeguard and maintain the areas vacated by M23 and other armed groups, to sustain orderly withdrawal of M23 and other armed groups from the renaming occupied areas, to protect civilians and support the return of internally displaced persons to the areas vacated by the armed groups. And number 4, to work with the Chiefs of Defense Forces, MONUSCO, and all other stakeholders to visit and verify within 3 weeks the suitability of Lumagambo camp for pre-cantonment of M23 and other armed groups. The summit directed that communications with M23 should be handled by the facilitator. The summit urged the Democratic Republic of Congo and Republic of South Sudan to engage in bilateral arrangements to resolve the issue of negative forces on the border between the two partner states. The summit directed that the East African Community Secretariat to constitute a technical evaluation team by 15th of June 2023, composed of an officer at the rank of Brigadier General from each partner state to evaluate the implementation of the mandate of the East African Regional Force and report to the Sectoral Council on Cooperation on Defense Affairs within 90 days after the extension of the status of the Forces Agreement. The heads of state applauded His Excellency President Felix Tshisekedi for his commitment to restoration of peace in Eastern DRC and agreed to the extension of the status of the Forces Agreement so far for 6 months from 8th March to 8th September 2023 in order to consolidate the gains made by the East African Community Regional Force. The summit reiterated its call to all parties to de-escalate tensions and to use established regional, continental, international mechanisms to resolve any disputes in the implementation of peace in Eastern DRC. The summit welcomed the decisions of the 11th high-level meeting of the Regional Oversight Mechanism of the Peace, Security and Cooperation Framework for the Democratic Republic of Congo and the region held in Bujumbura on the 6th May 2023 that 1, encouraged the EAC-led process under the aegis of His Excellency Evariste Ndayishimiye, President of the Republic of Burundi, the East African Community Chairperson and Champion for Youth, Peace and Security, and His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta, EAC Facilitator, and former President of the Republic of Kenya, and urge all the parties to remain committed to this peace process and to honor the commitment made to cease hostilities during the Nairobi 3 consultations. And B, reiterated support to the Luanda process and the EAC-led process. Number C, urged all parties to support these initiatives and their outcomes, including with regard to assistance toward demobilization of combatants of armed groups and their reinsertion and reintegration into the civilian lives. And D is reiterated the request to MONUSCO, the EAC regional force, and the ad hoc verification to continue to enhance coordination and synergies with the forces de la République Democratique du Congo in order to impress upon all armed groups to disarm and encourage other troops deployed through the bilateral agreements to fully commit themselves to the same. Encouraged the DRC to authorize the continuation and finalization of the deployment of regional force. And summit reaffirmed that the security situation in Eastern DRC can only be sustainably resolved through a political process and dialogue among the parties, and urged DRC to work with the facilitator to finalize the appropriate dates for resumption of the inter-Congolese dialogue. Summit commended the facilitator for the work done and also efforts that are being to re-energize the peace process in Eastern DRC. The heads of state agreed on establishment of a civilian aid of mission to coordinate all political related matters of the Eastern Regional Force. The summit noted with appreciation the financial contributions by the Republic of Kenya, United Republic of Tanzania, and the Republic of Uganda, and thanked the Republic of Rwanda and the Republic of South Sudan for their commitment to contribute to the East African Community Peace Facility Fund, and urged other partners to contribute towards the Peace Fund. The heads of state accepted a request from His Excellency President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, President of the Republic of Uganda, to hold a follow-up meeting to be hosted by His Excellency President William Samoei Ruto in Nairobi, the Republic of Kenya, on the dates that they will agree. The summit directed the Secretary General to intensify efforts to mobilize resources from the regional and international partners to support the EAC-led process. And the heads of state deliberated on the report of the verification of the application of the Federal Republic of Somalia to join the East African Community, and directed the Secretariat and the Council to commence negotiations with the Federal Republic of Somalia and report, and this should be done with immediate effect. The heads of state thanked His Excellency Evariste Ndayishimiye, President of the Republic of Burundi, and the chairperson of the Summit of Heads of State for his continued engagement and commitment towards supporting the people of DRC in their pursuit for sustainable peace and security, and extended the gratitude for the warm and cordial hospitality accorded to them and their delegation during their stay in Bujumbura, done in Bujumbura on this 31st day of May 2023. Your Excellencies, I submit.
Thank you. I call for proposal and seconders to adopt the communique. Rwanda.
Thank you, Excellency. For the communique, I have some comments and some additions we want to add according to what was discussed. The paragraph sorry, Your Excellency. Paragraph 12, the summit bullet point number 4. I think you agree that to work with the chiefs of defense forces, MONUSCO and M23 and other stakeholders, because we believe that we cannot be negotiating peace without involving the concerned people. And if they have to withdraw from the place where they are now, they need to be involved. They need to be part of the team, and then this is what we agreed on, that M23 should be part of the team, which will go to verify the suitability of the place. That's the bullet point 4. We are also proposing, we think also that we need to add another paragraph, another bullet point, saying that the regional force should ensure that local armed groups do not occupy areas vacated by M23 and the foreign armed groups are disarmed and repatriated without conditions. I think this also needs to be put in a communique. And as a bullet point number 5, which was not there. And then paragraph 18, bullet point A, we think we should add where we have bullet point A, during the Nairobi 3 consultation and M23 to be included in the Nairobi process. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Any comment from others? DRC?
Merci, Excellence, Monsieur le Président. Je pense que sur le point 13, point 4, il a été convenu ce qui est écrit. Je me rappelle qu'effectivement, le Premier ministre du Rwanda a souhaité que la M23 fasse partie de l'équipe qui va aller visiter Rumangabo, où se fera le premier précantonnement. Mais à l'issue du débat, il a été clairement dit que c'est plutôt les facilitateurs qui les contacteraient. Parce que toute la force de l'EAC qui est présente sur place est bel et bien là pour créer les conditions de précantonnement normal. Non seulement à Rumangabo, mais aussi à Kindu, où les troupes angolaises sont en train de s'affairer pour s'installer, et où le gouvernement congolais est en train d'investir de gros moyens pour aménager les endroits prévus pour cela. Donc je ne vois pas pourquoi on ajouterait les M23 ici, parce que tout ce qui est là est pour les sécuriser, créer les conditions de précantonnement normal. C'est ce qui a été attendu, j'imagine, j'espère, par nous tous dans la réunion. Merci.
Other comment? Rwanda?
Thank you, Excellency. Of course, I raised that issue because we believe that M23 should be involved in that process. And what the minister from Congo is saying, we didn't agree on that. So we don't see how M23 wouldn't be involved in the process, which is going to assess the place where they're going to be living. So what we said was that that decision will be communicated to M23 by the facilitator. So the facilitator will be there to communicate to M23 that decision. But the decision of M23 being part of the team, I thought we agreed on that. By the communication, we said the facilitator is going to communicate that decision to M23. So there is a difference between who is going to do the communication and the decision which was made. Thank you, Your Excellency.
There is no other comment. I think now we are in a practical case. There is actors, there is facilitator who are neutral in that matter. And who is playing is M23, is going in a cantonment, pre-cantonment center. So the role of that team and the role of the real actors, is it the same? Is what we can say and be clear about that?
Your Excellency, I think we are struggling with semantics. I think we have agreed broadly on the issue. The issue was whether Rumangabo has facilities to accommodate the M23 in the context of pre-cantonment. And it was arrived at because it was agreed by all that Sabino, which was the original position, the place for them to go, did not have any facilities. So I think we should not fight over this particular phrase. I think it's generally agreed that this decision as to whether they are going to Rumangabo, now not Sabino, should be communicated, I think, as has been said here, by the facilitator to the M23. So once it's communicated to them by the facilitator, then, but meanwhile, the process of assessment of the suitability, whether the facilities are there, will be carried out by a bigger team than just this small statement.
Rwandan, do you understand?
Thank you, Excellency. I think it's just a matter of being, let's say, rational and fair in the process. When we're taking someone to live somewhere, that person has to know the place where he's going. And I think involving M23 in this process, it's actually, it's making things easier. But it's better than saying we have agreed on this and M23 is not involved. Why? It's the actors, you said, and then in the end, they don't know where they are being taken. So I think involving them to go to visit the place wouldn't cause any problem, any harm to members. So I think saying, adding the Chief of Defense Forces, MONUSCO, and the M23 to visit the place is the best way of doing these things.
In my view, already M23 knows the area. And why can't we have confidence that when the facilitator, for example, will communicate it to M23, M23 will have opportunity to ask some questions. M23 is not here now, but that time, M23 have the ground where he can ask some questions about the implementation of this matter.
Thank you, Excellency. I think when I'm talking about being rational is who are fighting? The fight is between M23 and the government of Congo. Now, in this group of people who are visiting the place, we are putting army chiefs, meaning the chief of staff of Army of Congo will be part of this group visiting the place. And then the other party is not being represented. It's not, you know, because these two parties which are fighting government of Congo and M23 should be part of that delegation which is going to visit the place. And I think it makes sense. And for me, as the president of Kenya said, I think it's very simple and the simple matter we shouldn't be even discussing, because the government of Congo is visiting the place with the M23, and those are the two parties which are fighting. Thank you, Excellency.
I think Tanzania, can you help us to look for the solution?
Well, Your Excellency, I thought it's just semantics. My thinking was that the M23 is covered under other stakeholders. I don't see that being a problem as long as the facilitator in constituting the team that will go to inspect the site will be including all stakeholders, including the M23. So that's my thinking.
So for you, it's not necessary to put M23 when the facilitator will be there. Uganda.
Your Excellency, during the course of the meeting, we were informed that actually the M23 is already in place in Rumangabo. So when this team goes, they will find them there. If they're already there, then they'll be consulted automatically because they're occupying the place now. Thank you, Excellency.
Rwanda.
Thank you. Actually, I think we are getting confused. In our discussion, the question was, who is in Rumangabo today? And I remember we were informed that at that place called Rumangabo today, the forces which are there, names we said Chief of Defense Force, meaning from government, and then we put the name of MONUSCO. Then we are avoiding to add the M23 as if M23 is not active in that process. And to the end, we're saying also that M23 should be part of Nairobi process. So if we're putting people in the same process of peace, let's put them in the whole process. Otherwise, if we avoid them in one step, then you put them in another step, we are not doing, a proper process, I think. Thank you, Chair.
South Sudan.
Maybe get a lesson about the experiences of South Sudan when we had problem. We had SPLM-IO and I, and also SPLM, the government army, and the rebel army we had. And when we decided to have cantonment sites, these cantonment sites where we wanted actually the various opposition groups who were virtually our rebels to move into those sites. And they were not yet having any direct contact with the government. And in order to convince them that they will not be harmed, because the government army is supposed to be powerful, to be strong. The issue with us was that the rebels did not trust whether they can travel with our forces to go and see the site for them to be put in. But in the end, when they were convinced, it was the rebels being convinced to move together with the government troops to go to the site, because you don't expect the rebels to overcome the government. Maybe using our experience, it would be good, as said by the Vice President of Tanzania, that when you use facilitation, the facilitator has got certain confidence, and there is confidence from the M23 in the facilitation. So really, I think you try the examples of others. So when they were convinced, they went to cantonment sites, their officers. They didn't even have soldiers to come with them. And they agreed to go with where the government forces are in charge. They accepted to be with the government forces, and they moved to cantonment sites. Some of those things should be seen as silent parts of the agreement of whatever. And these are the ones you discuss later on when you have built some trust among yourselves. So maybe it will not harm. I think the DRC government, army is quite strong, and with MONUSCO there, and with from the community, also developed forces which are present. What would M23 do after all? I think maybe our brothers on the other side may use our experience when we were fixing cantonment sites. Thank you.
Rwanda.
I think we we leave it as it is, as long as the understanding is that the facilitator will make sure that he involves all concerned parties, and then what we want is that understanding be there. So the facilitator will know how to involve M23 when he'll be sending the delegation to visit the place. Thank you.
I thank you, because myself I was thinking about the monitoring mechanism, decide who to go with at a certain time. So facilitation is one of the mechanisms of monitoring. I thank you. So if there is no other comment, can I call for seconder? Uganda.
Excellency, I move that the communique be adopted as proposed and as with the various amendments which have been made. Thank you.
Tanzania.
Well, I second the motion.
Thank you. The communique is adopted. Secretary General follow up with the signing of the communique. Your Excellency, Your Excellency, Dr. William Samuel Ruto, President of the Republic of Kenya, Your Excellency, Dr. Philip Mpango, Vice President, representing President Samia Suluhu Hassan of the United Republic of Tanzania, LT Honorable Edward Ngirente, Prime Minister, representing President Paul Kagame of the Republic of Rwanda, RT Honorable Rebecca Alitwala Kadaga, Second Deputy Prime Minister and the Minister of East African Community Affairs, representing President Yoweri Museveni of Republic of Uganda, Honorable Dr. Barnaba Marial Benjamin, representing President Salva Kiir of Republic of South Sudan, Honorable Antipas Mbusa Nyamwisi, Minister of State, Ministry of Regional Integration, representing President Felix Tshisekedi of Democratic Republic of Congo, Honorable Peter Matuki, Secretary General of East African Community, Chairperson of EAC Council of Ministers, Honorable Ministers, ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed, Excellencies, Honorables, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of this 21st extraordinary EAC Head of State Summit. It is my honor to close this important meeting, but first of all, I would like to thank the Almighty God who has been with us during this summit and who has led us for fruitful deliberations. I want to express my gratitude to all partner states for your participation and the contributions in 21st Extraordinary East African Community Head of State Summit. I warmly congratulate the two Deputy General Secretaries the Vice President of East African Court of Justice, and the judge to the First Instance Division of the East African Court of Justice for their appointment, and I wish them success in their new functions. I thank you for the fruitful deliberations and look forward for their successful implementation to achieve sustainable and lasting peace and security in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, particularly, and the region at large. Let's join forces and continue to build and restore lasting peace in our region. The future of a peaceful community is our common responsibility. I would like to close this summit by once again reiterating my thanks to all those who contributed to the organization of this summit, particularly the EAC General Secretariat. It is with this word that I declare closed the 21st Extraordinary EAC Head of State Summit. I wish you a safe journey back to your respective destination. Long life to East African community. May God bless you all. Asanteni sana.
Enfin, ce 21e sommet des chefs extraordinaires des chefs d'État de la communauté est-africaine, présidé par son Excellence le président du Burundi, Evariste Ndayishimiye, enfin également président de la président en exercice de la communauté est-africaine. Dans un instant, ça sera bien sûr le chant
Excellencies, we want
de l'EAC.
to have a EAC anthem so that we close. Dr. Benjamin, we want to do the EAC anthem so that we can finalize.
Afrika Mashariki, tuwezeshe kuishi kwa amani, tutimize na malengo yetu. Jumuiya yetu sote tuilinde, tuajibike, tuimarike. Umoja wetu ni nguzo yetu, idumu jumuiya yetu. Uzalendo pia mshikamano viwe msingi wa umoja wetu, na tulinde uhuru na amani, mila zetu na desturi zetu. Jumuiya yetu sote tuilinde, tuajibike, tuimarike. Umoja wetu ni nguzo yetu, idumu jumuiya yetu. Viwandani na hata mashambani, tufanye kazi sote kwa makini, tujitoe kwa hali na mali, tulijenge jumuiya bora. Jumuiya yetu sote tuilinde, tuajibike, tuimarike. Umoja wetu ni nguzo yetu, idumu
Thank you so much. Oui.
C'était donc l'hymne de la communauté est-africaine d'ailleurs qui va donc clôturer en beauté ce 21e sommet de la communauté, des chefs de la communauté de l'Afrique de l'Est, présidé par son Excellence le président